Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Kraskowiak.
Here.
Councilmember Rayrauer.
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Geisler.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Cook.
Here. Thank you. Next is to adopt this evening's agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Kraskowiak.
I'll move to adopt the agenda with the exception of removing item 14, considering the acceptance of the energy plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this evening's agenda, removing item 14. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'm not in favor of that. I think we should be talking about the energy action plan this evening. I think that there's enough conversation that could be had tonight, so I will not be supporting that change.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Kraskowiak?
the only reason I thought that it might be appropriate is we only had a few minutes in the workshop before this meeting to go over the 43-page document. I'm happy to have the discussion, or we could table it at that time.
Yeah. I mean, we've had it for a month. It wasn't just 30 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember
Yeah,
Carlson?
I just believe based on our work session that we need more time to discuss this as a council. And I don't know, what the rush is.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.?
I agree with Councilmember Carlson and Councilmember Kraskowiak. This should be tabled and needs more discussion on it.
Okay, so and actually what we're doing is we're considering removing it from the agenda, then we would even forego tabling it. Is there any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. One opposed, Councilmember Geisler. So the agenda is adopted with the removal of item 14. We are on to item 1, announcement of the Arts Commission 2022 Holiday Lighting Contest winners. Mrs. Keene, are you going to come up to the mic and give us the report? Lots of beautiful lights out there. Lots of people did a lot of work decorating. Sure. Because I think there's going to be a video too, or pictures or something.
Well, this year we had over 22 entries. There was, most of them were all in the still category. But we do want to announce the winners, and in the motion category, first place was taken by Ellen and Colleen Hallberg of 12401 Partridge Street Northwest.
Very nice.
Repeat there.
Drove by pretty early this year and they were out working on it. Like it was still really nice outside when they were out
Yes.
working on it.
It wouldn't be the night tonight. Okay, that was first place. Second place is Matthew Wheeler of 110th Wren Street Northwest.
Incredibly creative.
And for honorable mention, we have Keith Steffens of 3044 116th Lane Northwest.
We're pretty trigger happy back there with that thing.
There we go.
Apologies, I think we might be missing that one.
Nope. it's
No,
the
it
next-
was
there's
in
the next
there.
one. There it is.
Yes, yeah.
Nope, that's not Keith's. I thought I saw Keith's go by.
There it is.
Yep,
There we go.
nice. That's incredible, all the work.
In the still category, first place was taken by Mark Stevens of 2850 118th Lane. Second place was to Jerry Murphy of 109th 40 Magnolia Street Northwest.
I can hear that electric meter spinning from here.
And for honorable mention in the still category, we had Jason Latiki.
Seems like we have quite a few in Ward 5 from the guy in Hawaii.
So we'd like to thank everybody that entered the contest, and a lot of the people that, put lights in their yard and didn't enter the contest. We want to thank each and every one of those too, because it all helps brighten up our city. So,
When it gets dark at 4:30 at night, that's really important.
So that would take care of it for the lighting contest. But we want to give a special thanks to John Kosan, one of our Arts Commission members. He takes all the pictures and puts the video together.
Nice.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Geisler?
Yeah, and I believe there's still on our website the map of all of the different
I
locations.
believe it's still up there,
And so I'm assuming that most folks will have their lights up for at least another week or two.
Hopefully, so everybody gets a chance to go around and see
So
them.
if you need to find out where they are, you can go to the city's website, and there is a map of all of the different houses that registered for their tree lights.
So, thank you for your time.
Is there more? Are they going to come up, or what's going on?
That was everything with all the visuals.
That was everything? Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to all who did all that work, putting those lights up, and for everybody's enjoyment, thank you so much. All right. We're up to the approval of the minutes from the December 6th meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move
Councilmember
approval
Geisler.
of the December 6th minutes as published.
Second?
Motion by Geisler, second by Carlson. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And those minutes are approved. We have 5 items on our consent agenda this evening. The first one is to accept resignation of Charter Commission member Isla B. Fichtner and recommend a new appointment to the Charter Commission. When the Charter Commission met in October 2022, they expressed an interest in adding another member to the commission. One resident, Bill Kicker, has expressed an interest in being on the Charter Commission and has submitted an application which is attached for council's review. State statutes require that a minimum of 7 and no more than 15 persons serve on the Charter Commission, and currently the Charter Commission has 8. If the council follows both recommendations on the agenda, the commission will continue to have 8 members. So we're looking to, and then any council's recommendation for appointments are forwarded to the Honorable Stony Hilgis, Chief Judge for the 10th Judicial District, who makes the final appointment, because all we can do is make recommendations. So we're looking to Charter Commissioner, Commission member Isla Fichtner contacted the city and gave her resignation. So we're formally accepting her resignation and thanking her for her service. So we're going to accept the resignation of Isla B. Fichtner and declare a vacancy. And then we're going to recommend to the Chief Judge for the 10th Judicial District that Bill Kicker be appointed to serve a 4-year term effective January 3rd, 2023, with said term to expire in May of 2027. That's the first item on the consent agenda. The next item, which is item 4 on this evening's agenda, is to approve the final payment to New Look Contracting Incorporated for Project 21-1 Street Reconstruction. There were some change orders for additional water main fittings and catch basin drainage structure replacements determined based on site conditions, as well as the removal of streetlight bases. The actual project costs were more than the final contract amount due to the additional quantity adjustments from the original bid. So we're looking to approve the change orders and final payments to New Look Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $37,878.13 for Project 21-1 Street Reconstruction. And then item 3 on our consent agenda, which is item 5 on this evening's agenda, is to approve final payment to Michels Trenchless Incorporated for Project 21-14 Port Riverwalk Sewer Lining Phase 2. The total amount paid to the contractor is less than the contract amount due to less work being performed by the contractor from what was originally estimated. The project took longer to complete than expected due to complications with the lining process, as well as colder than expected weather conditions. The contractor and city agreed to extend the completion dates so the work could be performed under ideal temperature conditions. So we're looking to approve the final payment to, and Mr. Hammer, is it Michels or Michels? Michels, thank you. Trenchless Incorporated in the amount of $71,349.77 for Project 21-14 Port Riverwalk Sewer Lining Phase 2. And then item 4 on our consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 22-123, establishing polling locations for 2023. State election law requires that the City Council designate polling places every year by December 31st, even if the polling places have not changed from the year before. As a result, the polling places designated by year end will be effective for the following calendar year elections. In the event of an emergency or if a polling place becomes unavailable, there are provisions within the law to allow the City Council to designate an alternative polling location, and we've done that in the past. The city's precinct map with the polling locations listed and Resolution 22-123 are all in our packet here for review. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 22-123, a resolution establishing polling locations for 2023. And then the fifth and final item on our consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 22-121, decertifying tax increment financing District 3-1. Tax Increment Financing District, or what we often call TIF, is a redevelopment district created in 2002 in conjunction with the partial redevelopment of Village 10 Shopping Center, including construction of a Cub Food store. The tax increment generated by this district was used to pay off city-issued bonds that were used to improve Northdale Boulevard in the vicinity of the shopping center. The bonds have been fully paid off and all obligations of the district have been satisfied. Therefore, it is appropriate to officially decertify the district effective December 31st, 2022, and return the properties to the tax rolls. This is primarily a housekeeping item and does not affect the city's overall budget. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 22-121, decertifying the Tax Increment Financing District 3-1. And that is our full consent agenda.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Rayrauer.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion by Rayrauer and a second by Griskoviak. Is there discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And that motion carries. Not much delay coming in from the west there, Councilmember Johnson. Item 8 is to consider changes to the home improvement loan program. And I thought I saw, hi Kristen. Is there anything you wanted to present on this, or should we just go with what you got here?
You can go for it.
All right. So let's see. Coon Rapids Low Interest Home Improvement Loan and Loan for Generations 2 loan programs currently offer financing to Coon Rapids homeowners at either 1% or 3%, depending on household income, and we're looking to adjust those up to 2% and 4%, depending on income, with the 2% being reserved for lower income households. This item was initially presented at the November 15th council meeting.
Mayor?
Yes?
Didn't we table this, and don't we have to take it off the table?
Did we table it? We did.
We did.
Well, then we should take it off the table
probably
before we talk
So,
about
Mr.
it.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to take this item off the table.
A second?
All right, we have a motion and a second to remove this item from the table. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that is removed from the table. Thank you, Councilmember Geisler. all that same information applies. And so at any rate, we've discussed this, we've had a work session on it, and we've now set the interest rates at least for the first 6 months of next year, and then we'll see what's happening in the market from there. But that way, we'll have these preserved for the city newsletters and for the home remodeling show in March, so people can make their plans.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to adopt the recommended changes to the city home improvement loan guidelines as outlined in the attached document, and authorize the mayor and city manager to execute a 12th amendment to the service contract together with any necessary documents with the Center for Energy and Environment.
Second.
Motion by Geisler and a second by Ray Rauer. Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I think,
Geisler?
because I had some questions with this at our last meeting, and, we had a good conversation, and just so residents know, we wanted to have just some more rationale for why did we pick the 2%? Why did we pick the 4%? To make sure that we were grounded with those numbers and had some foundation for what we were putting in there, so we had some better assurances, and I think we've come to, understand where those numbers are coming from and have some general guidelines, so to speak, of what is the criteria of when would we change those loan rates and why would we change those loan rates, so we're all on the same page. So I appreciate the conversation to get us there.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 9 is to consider adoption of Ordinance 2278, regulating the possession of catalytic converters. This was introduced at our last meeting, and we are looking to actually move it forward now. Catalytic converter thefts are an ongoing issue in Minnesota and for law enforcement agencies, including the residents of Coon Rapids. And currently, there is no state law regulating the possession or resale of a detached catalytic converter. The proposed ordinance would be a new tool for Coon Rapids police officers. It is difficult for police officers to prove a detached catalytic converter was stolen, and this ordinance addresses situations where the officer stops a suspected thief and the person has catalytic converters, singular or plural, in their possession. Other cities like Bloomington, Shakopee, and Fridley have adopted or are considering adoption of similar ordinances, and this ordinance was introduced on December 6, 2022. Chief Stanky or Mr. Brody, anything you'd care to add to that?
Mayor, no. We've chatted about it a lot, and like I said, it's just another tool. The state hasn't taken much action, and we along with the city, with the police department, do want to step forward and do add that tool. I think it was you that had mentioned that it was a resident that brought this to our attention. We've had discussions about it, but it was kind of that impetus from him to push this forward, and we're at that point now, and so we'd ask that you'd adopt this ordinance.
Mr. Mayor?
This is the second or third time we've had to do something here because the state wasn't doing it. I'm not sure if that's a good trend. Councilmember Carlson.
Mr. Mayor, I may have jumped the gun. Chief Stanky, did you have anything to add?
Thank you, Councilmember Carlson.
You're running the meeting now? Chief Stanky.
I would just like to add that I appreciate council support with this ordinance. I think it's a valuable tool that our agency will put to good use.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlson, anything to add?
Mr. Mayor, if I can come back in? I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2278, adding chapter 7-700 to regulate the possession of catalytic converters.
Second.
Motion by Carlson and a second by Ray Rauer. Is there further discussion?
Your Honor.
Councilmember Ray Rauer.
I would just like to thank the resident that brought this forward, and thank you to our police department that goes above and beyond, and for sharing with us that this will be a tool that would help them because of the fact that if you have catalytic converters sitting in your car, there's no reason to have them sitting there when they're not attached to your car. But the burden of proof that this person stole them is the difficult part. So now this ordinance will allow us to take care of that. So just want to say thank you.
And Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Carlson.
I think this is just a great tool, and it's not just the loss of the catalytic converter, it's all the damage that they do, and it's a fairly simple thing for them. So this will be a great tool for our law enforcement.
Excellent. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 10 is to consider Resolution 22-122, accepting business sponsorships and donations for 2022. Stephanie Ring, you put this forward. Do you want me to read your notes here, or do you want to do this since you're here?
Well, whatever you prefer. I can certainly say a few words. I think this is a great opportunity to just really thank the community. We have great, strong partnerships, and we appreciate the ability for council to accept these donations. We have had a variety of things from businesses as well as some individuals that benefit the senior center, farmers market, movie in the park, Night to Night, and Coon Rapids Love My Pet Fair. And all of those donations go to defray costs, and all of those elements that we put on for the community are to build community and gather people together. So we greatly appreciate the partnerships. I'd also like to mention the Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation is also a partner that supports a variety of things with financial contributions. So this is for you to acknowledge the donations that have come in through the year.
Thank you. I think Coon Rapids Love My Pet Fair actually has more contributors than Night to Unite. That's kind of surprising. I mean, it's a huge event. It's very popular, but yeah. And this represents thousands of dollars and lots of support from companies, and primarily companies, but some individuals from around town, and yeah, we greatly appreciate it. But as with any donation, the city council must receive it.
Your Honor.
Councilmember Rayrower.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 22-122 to accept contributions made to the 2022 Sponsorship and Donation Program.
Second.
Motion by Rayrower and a second by Geisler. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And that motion carries. We're up to item 11, and that is to consider resolution approving a year-end budget appropriations and amendment. Ms. Hanson, did you want to hit on that, or do you want me to read your notes, or what do you?
I'll
You got
try
too many
to-
notes, you just cover it.
I'll try to summarize for you, Mr. Mayo, City Council. So before you, there's actually 3 resolutions included in this item as kind of more of a year-end wrap-up. So the first of which is just to adjust budget appropriations within the general fund. So our legal level of authority is at the category level within an activity. And so towards the end of the year, we like to take a look at year-to-date revenues and expenditures and draft kind of a new year and estimate and see where we're sitting. So included in the first resolution is recommended adjustment so that each activity isn't over budget. Those adjustments are net zero, so there's no overall change in the budget for those. The second is a amendment to the general fund. Actually, I should go back, sorry. That first item also includes carry forwards from 2022 to 2023. So we've got $177,000 in the general fund, most of which is IT equipment. And there's 1.7 million or so in other funds, most of which is in the capital equipment fund and enterprise funds related to equipment. So purchases of vehicles, dump trucks, a lot of those larger pieces of equipment, we're still seeing big delays in supply chain. We've had a couple where we ordered them early in the year and they were canceled on us and we weren't made aware of it, so we had to reorder them. So there's just a long delay, so we'll have to move those into the 2023 budget. So the second item on here is to amend the general fund for fire state aid. This is more of a housekeeping item. So we have historically received from the state a fire state aid payment that we have to then remit to the Fire Relief Association. Past practice, it kind of ran through a balance sheet item, went into a deposit payable, and then went out to be more in line with our gap. We should be recognizing that revenue and the expenditure. And so the 2021 financial statements are correct, our 22 will be correct, and it's included in the 23 budget, but it's not included in 2022, so we have to amend that so that we're not showing a huge overage either way. That's a net zero impact as well. And then the third item would be to amend the housing program fund budget. So back in 2021, when we were adopting the 22 budget, the city adopted appropriations in the housing programs fund to provide various home improvement grants. And we also separately approved funding for that program. And so there's sort of a mismatch between those two authorizations. And given the rising interest rates, we've seen quite a bit of new loans originating this year so far that we've exceeded our 22 budget amount. So we're requesting a budget amendment of $900,000 to kind of bring that up to the funding that was authorized, and so that those two match. So that's kind of just a summary of what we're asking tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Very good, thank you. Questions for Ms. Hanson?
Mayor, Council, if I could, I'll just add this also sort of speaks to, as I'm sure you saw in terms of revenues and expenses, some of the volatility we saw in 2022 beyond even the supply chain things, which of course made things more expensive, but even things like utilities, fuels, you name it. Certainly from a staffing standpoint, we saw a number of vacancies, particularly in the police department, a lot of retirements, even some changes to other agencies, that sort of thing. 2022 was a bit of a wild ride as far as the budget goes. This certainly reflects some of that, including there's still some of the federal stimulus ARPA dollars that were included in this budget, which generated additional revenue. So certainly interesting year. I anticipate 2023 will be somewhat the same.
Not calmer, not more normal.
It'll be its own unique thing.
Thanks for your optimism.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Rayrower?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 22-118, reallocating funds within the 2022 general fund budget and amending the 2022 and 2023 budgets. They can all be
Do you want them all
together.
together, Mr. Brody, or do you want them separate?
And approve Resolution 22-119, amending the general fund budget for fire state aid, and approve Resolution 22-120, amending the housing program fund budget.
Second.
Motion by Rayrower and a second by Carlson. Do we have discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor, I just
Councilmember Geisler?
thank Ms. Hanson for all of the work with the ups and downs and, you know, trying to move things around to fit the craziness of the year. So her and her team would do a great job.
Excellent. Further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Driscoll?
Oddly enough, I don't have any questions on this one this year.
Wow.
But I do have a comment, and that is that the outline
Did you see
here.
Mr. Stemwell? He goes,
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate this. It's probably done a lot on my behalf, but the information here is great. Your comments, we're dead on, so thank you, staff, for that.
all right. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 12 is to consider resolutions 22-114 and 22-115, approving miscellaneous 2022-2 appealed assessment levy. The Board of Adjustment and Appeals did yeoman work again and heard the appeals, and we're looking at, we're looking at affirming some assessments here to the tune of, well, I'm not sure what the total is, but
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Geisler, thank you for, I'm just hanging here, waiting to see what we're going to do with this.
Yeah, I will make a motion that we adopt resolutions 22-114 and 22-115, which are adopting the 2022 sub-2 miscellaneous special assessments, contested miscellaneous assessments, 1 year and 3 year.
Second?
Motion by Geisler and a second by Hernandez Jr. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 13 is to consider Resolution 22-116, approving the MnDOT agency agreement for federal participation in construction. Mr. Hammer, you want to hit the highlights of this, or do you want me to read Mr. Hansen's notes?
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a standard agreement we've done on several past years. It just allows MnDOT to act as the city's agent to receive federal funds should we receive them for any future projects. We haven't had any for a while, but certainly I can use 610 design as an example where the funds actually were through Anoka County to the city. So this just allows MnDOT to be that agency for us, and it's just passed through federal funds should those happen on any city projects. And I'll answer any questions you have.
It would be bad if the feds approved us for money and then couldn't write us a check, right?
It'd be horrible.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Rehauer?
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 22-116, authorizing city officials to execute and enter into agreement 1052170 with MnDOT for the administration of federal funds.
Second.
Motion by Rehauer and a second by Carlson. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 15 is to consider Resolution 22-124, approving the 2023 compensation plan for unrepresented employees. Oh, Ms. Roth, you are here. Hi. Welcome. And I mistakenly thought we were already done with all of our contracts.
This one isn't a contract. This is our typical pay plan for non-union employees, so.
Okay, so we were done with our contracts,
Yeah.
now we're just, okay, I
Yeah,
got it now.
Correct, so.
Thank you.
I'll defer to Ms. Roth to give you the details of what's changing.
Perfect.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. We ask that you consider and approve a 3% COLA adjustment effective January 1st, 2023 for our non-represented employees. And then we also ask for a 1% market adjustment effective July 1st, 2023. This is reflected in the 2023 budget.
Excellent. And the rest of all of these things that are broken down with the pay grades and the steps, those aren't changes. Those are just telling us what it is or what it was.
This is just demonstrating, showing for you the 3% and how it would affect the pay rate, the min and the max of the pay band.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mayor, Council, if I may, in that regard, essentially what the charter allows me to do is pay employees within the ranges set by City Council. This establishes the minimum and maximum per the pay grade. Those pay grades relate to our pay plan for non-represented employees. And so we have a certain pointing system that follows pay equity. There's a score for the position assigns you a grade, and then there's 9 steps within that grade that you can be paid within. Just maybe a little bit more on the split increase, because I think it's important to point out, as council may recall, we had some similar changes in the union contracts that came through really between like June, July, August of this year, was earlier this year, and had both sort of a cost of living component and a market increases. Council's aware some of the market changes for positions have increased significantly, partly due to inflation, but partly due to competitiveness out in the marketplace. So what that 1% does is sort of recognize a portion of that inflation, that market competitiveness. It also keeps this employee group, which is, I'd say, more female-dominated, sort of at pace with the more male-dominated union groups, and that helps us in the long run with pay equity to make sure that we're keeping those things in line.
Excellent. Yep, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
make a motion to adopt Resolution 22-124, establishing the 2023 compensation plan for unrepresented employees.
Second.
Motion by Geisler and a second by Johnson. Wow, got that all the way from Hawaii. Beating you, Carlson.
Mailed it. I sent it about 4 hours ago.
All right, do we have some discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Nope, and that motion carries. We are up to the open mic public comment portion of the meeting. Is anybody here for the open mic portion of the meeting? Open mic, all right.
We'll do number 16 last.
I don't have any reports on previous open mics. And we are up to other business, which will include item 16.
Okay.
Are we starting with item 16? Or should we start with, we should probably do the other business first.
Okay.
So, other business.
Mayor, Council, I can start with just a couple of small announcements. As you know, there are a couple of holidays coming up, and they both fall on Sundays. So the way it works for our city offices is that we'll be closed the day following, which would be the next 2 Mondays, in recognition of both Christmas and the New Year. So if you're looking to do city business, I would suggest coming in before Friday this week or Tuesday through Friday the next 2 weeks. And then there were a couple of things that I was hoping Mr. Himmer and Chief Stinky could help out with. As you know, there's quite a bit of snow and wind coming, so I thought it might be good to have Mr. Himmer provide a snow plowing update in terms of how we plan to tackle that over the next couple of days, as I'm sure people are planning to travel quite a bit and might want to know.
I know Councilmember Johnson is super excited to hear this. Yes, we are expecting probably 6 to 10 inches. Crews will actually start. We'll do our typical what's needed to clear the mains tomorrow, but starting certainly on Thursday morning, probably 2 or 3 a.m. That'll be a 12-hour shift. And just to kind of give a little information is we try to get on the roads and clear all the mains early before everyone wakes up and gets on the road. And about the time that the morning commute starts, that's when we go back and add more chemicals and refuel and kind of let some of the traffic manipulate its way around, or we go onto the local streets. Then we get back out there after the commute and then hit them one more time, especially those mains before the afternoon rush hour. Then we get off the roads and let the evening things happen. And that's usually when the calls come. I've shoveled my driveway, you came 6 hours later and plowed me right back in. So yes, it's intentional not to plow you in, but it's intentional to be on the roads when other people aren't, and vice versa. So it's going to be a full 12-hour day for sure on Thursday. And that will spill into Friday, cleaning up cul-de-sacs, trails, sidewalks, those sorts of things. And we'll plow as needed tomorrow as we're making our way through. Primarily tomorrow will be just those collector roads, those high-volume roads that not necessarily into the neighborhoods yet. So unless we have that magical 3 inches, neighborhoods won't get hit until overnight, Wednesday into Thursday.
Very good.
You're
And streets are the priority. Sidewalks and trails will hopefully be the next day or two. That kind of.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we usually can get everything done in a 24-hour period. It's those snowstorms that last multiple days that we're coming back and cleaning up the roads before we get to those sidewalks. So yes, roads are #1 priority. Then we move on to sidewalks and then regional trails, lesser trails, parking lots, ice rinks, all of those fun things, which we hope to have open for school letting out.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ray.
Yes, thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute to honor Deanne Christensen, who passed away last week. So Deanne has been a lifelong volunteer and activist in Coon Rapids. She was a member of our Excel Partners in Energy team with the City of Coon Rapids and also the Coon Rapids Regenerative Energy Task Force. And she spent a lot of time the last few years championing solar energy in Coon Rapids. And she will be dearly missed, and I personally will especially miss her wonderful laugh and her fierce determination.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Carlson.
I also would like to mention the passing of Mel Schulte. Mel, former council member, original Rotarian.
Yep.
The original group was instrumental with other citizens in bringing Mercy Hospital to Coon Rapids. Great community leader, and really was just great for the community for many, many years.
Opened up Pure Oil on Highway 10 in 1958, and served on the Coon Creek watershed for like 18 years. And yes, he was the founding charter member for one of the founding members for the Coon Rapids Rotary Club in September of '65. 4, I think it was. Okay, yeah, and his big thing when he was on the city council, his sign said, "Tell Mel." That was very clever.
That's pretty good.
All right. So are we on to item 16, or do we have any other council business?
Mayor Council, I was just maybe going to ask Chief Stanky to talk about the Community Police Academy, which is sort of a reconstituted Police Citizens Academy.
Yeah.
Which is opening up and starting in January. So Chief Stanky, if you could detail that.
Absolutely, Mayor and Council. As you're aware, we did have the Police Citizens Academy for several years here in Coon Rapids, and that kind of went away during COVID. But our plan was to bring it back, revamped, all new program that's now called the Community Police Academy. So that will start up in January if our residents are interested in taking part in that. It's an 8-week program. They can learn all about the police department, come in here one night a week for, I think it's 3 or 4 hours. You get to do all kinds of fun stuff, go on ride-alongs. They'll go through training programs, learn about different aspects of the police department, and get to know most of our staff as well. And you can sign up online if you go to the webpage, police department. You should be able to navigate your way through there to the Community Police Academy, and you can apply if residents are interested. So we highly encourage people to sign up.
And it's for Coon Rapids residents or somebody that has a significant connection to Coon Rapids, like if they own their business here or something like that, I imagine.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, live in Coon Rapids or work in Coon Rapids or some significant connection to the city of Coon Rapids.
It's a fabulous program that I took several years ago, but I noticed this time you're scheduling it to keep some of the riffraff out. You're doing it on Tuesday nights, so council members can't come.
I had no say in that.
Last time was on Wednesdays, so even on the council, we were able to go. All right. Yeah, and I really encourage that. That really is a tremendous program. It's very eye-opening, and some of the experiences that you are privy to, you go, oh my, and you just have so much more respect for the positions that officers are put in. Especially when you get into like the shoot or don't shoot, or it's a really excellent program, really good. All right. So we have a couple council members going off the council. We have Councilmember Hernandez Jr., who has been awesome filling in after Wade Demmer left the council. We needed to make an assignment, and you stepped up and stepped in the gap and learned in a hurry and had enough community connections and commitments that it was just an easy move for you, it seemed.
Yeah, it was. May I speak?
What are we going to do? It's your last night here. Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
I didn't write anything or nothing, but, November 3rd changed my life, 2021. You jumped in through youth sports and, things along that line to, city council. And it was quite an eye-opening experience for me. Matt and Joan and, went right through the ringer. We're going and we got to get this going. And then before you knew it, it was like, okay, we had on top of learning the processes, I had to run again, so it was just more things just compounding and just, it was an interesting and a very educational and a very grateful year for me. It opened, like I said, opened my eyes. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm sad to see I will not meet my full potential on this. But with other things as in life, we do go on. We do move on to other things, bigger, better things. And for me, I'm going to actually just be a fly on the wall. I think I've done my, 14, 15 years of community service and just nonstop hours and days and months, years on end, just helping out the community. If it's, wrestling, baseball, basketball, everything, and city council. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. It was great to get to know most of you. Like I said, I wish I had more time, but that's the way the dice roll. And, I'm actually at peace with, moving on. And, I wish everybody the best. And, I'll never forget everybody here. Everybody's going to be, you're going to hold a special piece in my heart, to be honest with you. So, everybody, especially you, Matt. Matt, Matt, you know what? I there was text, there was, conversations. I mean, Matt was always there. And Matt is a great above and beyond city manager, and we are darn lucky he is here.
He wants you to come back for his review next year.
Come back in June, Pablo.
And for the employees in the council, a lot of people don't understand the work that is behind this, the hours, the days, the nights. We've 9, 10 o'clock, and we all get up early in the morning. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. This does take time, and I just want to give some advice to the incoming council members. It's gonna drag you. You're gonna get those long nights, but you got to fight through it. You got to get dedicated. You ran for a reason. I'm looking right at you, Mr. future Councilmember Armstrong. And be patient. Find your voice. It's going to take time to find your voice. But we're all here and with the same goals. And I mentioned this during my first. We all have different views on things, but yet we still have the same goal of making our city better. And I look forward to seeing that progress over the next, kind of choked up right there, but over the next few years. So thank you very much.
So we greatly appreciate your service. Lest there be any confusion, though, we're not naming a building or street after you.
No.
However, we do want to present to you.
Oh, wow.
You can put it in your driveway. Stand up here, Pablo.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you very much
for your service. Here we go. So, we gave one of those to Sherwin Linton. And he did put it up in his driveway. It looks great.
Might have to do that.
When you're driving down the street in front of his house, he goes, oh, that's Sherwin's.
You got a nice pole for it and everything?
Oh, he's got 2 poles.
Okay, perfect.
So, and then we have a council member out in Hawaii this evening where everybody else wants to be. Councilmember Johnson, you have served 8 years on the council, and I am seriously going to miss your lawyer non-legal advice that you would dance around, but I would always look forward to anytime we had an issue like that. I would go, all right, I'm going to see what Councilmember Johnson's got to say about this one.
It's a variation of what's he going to say?
Nope, not at all. And we just owe you so much, and we just thank you so much for your service and your 8 years and it's been great having you next to me and great having you on the council. I'm looking forward to seeing you in your new office, of course.
Yeah. Thank you to the council and the staff, to you, Mayor Cook, and to the citizens of Coon Rapids. I'll be kind of uncharacteristically brief.
I'll believe that when it happens.
Right. I have learned so much that I'm going to carry with me into the county attorney role. And I would like to come back from time to time and talk to you all about the work that we do in the county attorney's office and also some of the other things that are going on in the community. I can't agree more with Councilmember Hernandez that this is an amazing city. I've been to every part of the county now. I've seen every city council. I've met probably 95% of the city council members around the county. Many of the city managers. I've seen how things operate in other parts of the county, and they all have their own special and unique characteristics, and they're all a bunch of dedicated people. But Coon Rapids is really something special. And I just want to leave with that thought that there is something extraordinarily special going on in Coon Rapids, from the council, to the staff, to the police department, to the fire department, and the way they interface with each other and the county. It's just really neat. And so thank you very much.
Councilmember Johnson, same thing for you. We have a really nice sign that says B. Johnson Court. So that's really clever.
It is very clever.
And I'm sure
maybe I'll put that up in the county attorney's office.
Yeah, I think you should. So this will be in Mr. Stemwittle's office probably when you get back. And just can't thank you enough. It's been great serving with you, and we look forward to serving with you in your new role. So.
Thank you, Mayor.
You look like you've got something to say.
No, sir.
No, sir? Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Geisler?
Thank you for all of the service, and I would move to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, just hold on. Just let me back it up the bus just 1 second. I would actually like to get a motion to adjourn from the young man next to me, and I'd like to get a second from Hawaii,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Of course. Your Honor, I motion to adjourn this meeting of December 20th, 2022.
Ooh, a lot of detail, too.
Nice.
Second.
Gonna make us wait. We have a motion by Councilmember Hernandez Jr. and a second by Councilmember Johnson to adjourn, and we are adjourned. Thank you.